Good afternoon. Every parent wishes for their children to go further than they were able to go, to see more, to do more, to be more. Each of us wants our children to have every door open to them, for them to have every opportunity. We want the sky to be the limit. To see my beautiful daughter now, as the successful young woman that she is, fills me with more pride than I can say. I'm delighted to be here today to share my experiences and the impact that this wonderful organization has had on my family. I am lucky. Most of the parents ACE supports does not have the opportunity to stand face to face with the generous people that have helped them to say thank you. I have that chance today. First, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in Westminster, Colorado, with my 3 older sisters and my parents. My dad left school in 8th grade to help my grandparents on the farm in Lamar. My mom went to West High School and dropped out during her senior year. As you can imagine, raising 4 children without a high school education was difficult for my parents. But what they lacked in money, they made up for in hard work and love. When it came to our education, my parents encouraged me and my sisters to finish high school, to go further than they had gone. And as I look back at the struggles that they had faced, they didn't want those same burdens on their children. And they believed that a high school diploma would lighten the load that we would have to carry. For our family, the only option was the neighborhood public school system. When I struggled in school, teachers didn't call home to make sure my parents knew that I needed help. I don't remember anybody asking me about my plans after high school. No one talked to me about college or my options. The only time I seen a guidance counselor was when he told me I needed to go to night school to graduate. There were teachers who cared for me, but looking back, I feel that I was simply pushed through, handed a diploma, and told good luck. I did receive my high school diploma, my parents had hope for me, and they were proud to watch their youngest child graduate. But that was as far as I would go. The high school that should have helped me plan for my future simply didn't. So instead, like so many of my friends, I got a job and I started a family. When Fabiana's dad and I separated, I found myself in the same position as so many other young women, with only a high school education, working to put food on the table and raising my kids, while still only a child myself. As a young mom, my life was full of so much uncertainty. But from the moment I became a parent, I knew one thing for sure. Just as my parents had hope for me, I was determined to give my children more. My kids would go to college. They would have every opportunity open to them. They would not be limited, not by me, not by the neighborhood, or their school. The sky would be their limit. I knew the journey to college began right away in 1st grade. It was important that my children not be pushed through the school system. Like all of you parents, I wanted my children to be cared for. I wanted them to be loved, to be inspired, surprised. I wanted them to learn and to grow. We lived in North Denver, where the public schools were similar to the schools that I attended in Westminster years before. I knew that if I sent my kids to these schools, it would be foolish of me to expect a different outcome. I believed that the smaller private school would give them the attention, direction, and the support that they needed. A friend of mine sent her child to a small private school called Guardian Angels on 52nd and Pecos. She raved about it, so I decided to visit. I didn't know how I would pay for the school, but almost immediately, I knew that this is where my children belonged. The small class sizes and friendly teachers meant not only would my children receive a great education, they would be cared for like family. And as a single working mom, knowing that my children would be academically prepared and we would be part of a strong and caring community was everything that I hoped for. It was the right place for my children to be. I was filled with emotion. I was standing in exactly the type of school that I had been looking for and the best possible place for my kids. But I knew that I couldn't afford the tuition. The feeling of helplessness, it was so powerful, but it only lasted a moment. The school handed me an ACE scholarship application and said it would be worth $2,000 of the $4,000 tuition. When they asked if I could come up with the rest of the tuition, there was no question in my mind. I would do whatever I had to if it meant that my kids could have the education that I wanted for them. We filled out the application, and we waited, and we prayed. When the news came that we had the scholarship, it was a miracle. The school allowed me to pay monthly payments toward the rest of the tuition. While it was hard on us, I was happy to do it. We moved in with my mom so I could pay the $150 toward the school. I was working at the U.S. Postal Service, and I took a second job as a reception at H&R Block. We lived paycheck to paycheck, and at times it was difficult to make ends meet. But it was always a huge weight off my shoulders to know that my kids would have a great education, thanks to ACE. I've always done the most that I could with the opportunities that I've had. I'm proud of the career that I've built for myself. Today, I'm an admin assistant at CDOT, but sometimes I wonder, what would be possible if I had gone to college? Thanks to you all, my daughter will never have to wonder. You were by our side for all of Fabiana's education, from first grade to graduation from Arupa Jesuit High School. At each step, you were there. The scholarship increased to $3,000 for high school. And Arupa was an incredible experience for Fabiana. We felt supported every step of the way. When Fabiana was struggling in geometry, her teachers in every subject worked as a team to communicate with us that she needed help and that she earned an A by the end of the semester. When it came time to apply for college, her guidance counselor coached her through every part of the process, even when Fabiana became discouraged, overwhelmed, or confused. And when my daughter received her high school diploma, she was given knowledge, skills, confidence, resources, and support. So much more than a wish of good luck. That was the difference that I was looking for. That was the sort of care and attention that I wasn't given. And that was what I so desperately wanted for her. This is what you all have helped me give to her. This is what I was willing to pay for, even if it meant that I had to scrape and save. But it was all worth it. There have been a few mentions today about the impact of ACE, not just as a student, but also on family and communities. Why, I can tell you without a doubt that your generosity and your tremendous impact has had on my entire family. Fabiana's younger brother, Juan, he looks up to her, and for a good reason. In about a year, my amazing daughter will become the first in our family to graduate college. but she will not be the last. Fabiana didn't just inspire her younger brother. She has inspired me. Little did I know that ACE Scholarship would change both of our lives. I look at my daughter now, and I am in awe. She is such an extraordinary young woman. And the truth is, she is my hero. So today, I'm a proud student at the Community College of Aurora. I'm studying business management and human resources. In a few short years, we will have 2 college students in the family. No child should have her story written for her based on where she lives or based on how far her parents went to school. All children should have the opportunity to write their own story. This is my dream for Fabiana, and this is the dream of ACE. The pencil on the ACE logo is a fitting symbol of what an ACE scholarship does for our communities. It is a tool that we have given our children so that they can write their own stories. And the best part is, when a child writes his or her story, we all get to read it. Thank you for making my daughter's story one that I can't wait to keep reading. A story that makes me laugh, that makes me cry, and sometimes keeps me up at night. And more than anything, a story that makes me proud, and that I look for inspiration to write my own chapter. Thank you all for giving so generously so that more children have the tools that they need to write their own stories. Because I don't know about all of you, but I definitely love a good book. Thank you very much.